G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we've got two of the world's best players facing off on Gorge. And I tell you what, I'm excited because we've got, well, have a look what we've got. We've got ourselves something interesting on this brand new Dynasties of the East expansion. Let's introduce our players spawning in the north of the map in the color green, playing as the House of Lancaster, the English variant. We've got Numidan, and on the south side of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Tughlag dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate variant, we've got Beasty. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Casted Game. A pleasure to have your company today as we explore the continuing evolvement of the meta. And boy, oh boy, have we got something interesting happening here. I suspected this would happen. This was quite early on when I was like, hold on a minute. It doesn't cost anything to train. It's instant. I mean, it does obviously cost something to train. It's you still got to pay for it, but it's instant and it's very affordable. It just makes sense. You get them out, you get them on the map, you get them collecting some sheep, and look, it makes sense, right? It just makes total sense. So anyway, I am glad to see that it's happened. And one thing to note is we've already got a worker elephant back here. He's collected up his sheep and he said, well, I'm just gonna go chill out on my gold vein. So some interesting developments that we're already beginning to see in the meta for the Tughlaq dynasty. Now, of course, over on the side of the House of Lancaster, let's not forget about the changes that have happened here, because no longer are they the powerhouse that they used to be. Happy to sit in their base all damn game and just wait. Just wait until they'd built up enough of an army. Their economy had been kicking. Oh, by the way, look at this. We got a scout following a scout, which is never a fun thing to be when you're the second scout that's following the first scout. Especially if you don't know that it's happening, and that's exactly the case here. Fortunately, there will be a combo breaker here for Beasty in the sense that he can't go around the back of the town center. One of the things that can happen, especially if you're in this spot right here, you're wondering, where are all the bloody sheep? Why are there no... This map has got terrible sheep spawns. What's the go with this map? How did I only get 5 sheep running around this whole bloody half of the side of the map? And you make a post on Reddit about it and you complain to the devs internally. But fortunately, the combo breaking is not going to happen, or the combo is not going to continue forever, because Beasty is forced to return back to base because he knows that there will be a tree line, there will be a town center, and he's not going to get a free reign around the corner for himself, unfortunately. But Numidan really having a bad time here. He doesn't go back to the town center and he says, there's got to be something. There's got to be something around here. Don't worry, Numidan, there was something around here. It's just, well, a little beast in the... A little beast that could manage to find it all. So, look, Beasty not even returning back to base. He says, you know what, we're fine. We're going to be okay. We got berries that we can choose from. Well, let's talk about age ups. Dome of the Faith coming through. Abbey of the Kings on the north, as you would have seen already by this stage of the game. Exciting. Exciting stuff. Look, I'm confident. Oh my gosh, hold on. Where is the scout? Okay, he's going for like a little bit of a mix-up play here. I mean, this is good in the sense that he will actually go into an area of the map that doesn't, or hasn't been scouted yet by Beasty, but Beasty's also doing the same thing on the other side of the map. So Beasty's definitely going to get the lion's share of the sheep today. But look, anyway, let's get back into it and talk a little bit about where we're potentially going from here, because Numidan's only got the 3 villas on stone, which was about standard prior to the change. Of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about the changes to manors. Manors have been changed, and not the type that you use when you're visiting your in-laws. This is a different type, the type that's available in the feudal age. So no longer do they generate a super high amount of resources passively. They still do generate resources passively, however, there are conditions. Most notably, the first condition is there must be villages nearby, and second of all, there must be a lot of villages nearby. So the way that it works is simple. For every villager that you've got nearby, you get a small bonus to the resources that you're generating. So it would mean in a situation like this, you probably want to put 1 manor at the back of your base, so it's going to get some good coverage here. And then you probably want to put a 2nd manor towards the back of your base to cover your wood gathering villages. But other than that, it doesn't really make much sense to go into any further manors at this stage. So they've definitely had quite the redesign here, the House of Lancaster. But I think the question that most will be asking, whether or not it actually has a change. Well, there's definitely an argument that it may have been a change for the worse. What do I mean by that? Well, a change for the worse in the sense that, well, now I'm not forced to go into playing around the manor. I can just drop a couple of manors down. In this case, you can see Numidan has definitely done that here. He's getting the value, the full value of the manors at the moment once he puts down his 2nd one. He'll be getting the full value of his manors essentially immediately, because all of his villagers are just going to be remaining in this area. There's never going to be a time when the villagers are outside of this position, at least within the first 10 minutes, let's go with. So he can absolutely just afford to throw these 2 manors down and then continue on his merry way. It looks like he may even be potentially heading up for a castle age and just getting that passive resource generation as he does it, which is quite interesting because the way that it used to work, it was very much about, I'm just going to make as many manors as I can. I'm going to go defensive. I'll leverage our manor landmark that obviously we haven't done today. We've gone into the Abbey instead. There's a lot of different... there was a real significant way that you would just approach the game and just really try and look to play that as much as we can. Villagers now going to be retreating for the moment. Almost taking a deadly dose of damage, but not going to be the case here as Beasty does survive a little bit. He's looking to try and get that first Tughlaqabad fort up, and of course it is, and he's managed to get the town center down as well. Quite a bit of stone, so look, I think he's quite happy with this. One thing to note is that the amount of resources that are left in this stone outcropping is only going to allow him to get 1 level on the Tughlaqabad fort. So I think the big question is, which way does he look to play this? And interestingly, I love that he's already approaching this with a different philosophy than what we saw Marine Lord approach it. Now, if you missed the Marine Lord game, I'm going to spoil it for you right now, so maybe turn your ears off if you don't want to get spoiled. Marine Lord didn't make a single Tughlaqabad fort in like a 40-minute game, effectively breaking the civilization. Because if we think about a civilization, arguably you want to play into its strengths. It reminds me of that game that we saw of Casfa. There was a game early on of Casfa when the Ottomans had come out, and he didn't make a single military school. Not a single one. Just play the civilization as standard as you can with no military schools. And in the end, I can't remember if he won or lost, but we walked away from that game wondering, what's the point in having a bonus for a civilization if it's not going to be used? And that effectively breaks the civilization in a way. And because of that, that's why we labeled Marine Lord had broken the Tughlag dynasty. The question on my mind right now is whether or not Beasty is going to be able to do the same thing. Let's see what he is cooking. Now, the age up is coming through on the other side of the map. Numidan is going for the White Tower. Now, keep in mind, this White Tower is quite different from the standard White Tower. Of course, it gives you all the defensive bonuses. The only key difference is you're not going to be utilizing it as a barracks, archery range, stable, siege workshop, all in one, super duper fast production. No, you're not doing that. So that's the key difference. So let's check in with Numidan. Have a look at these manors and how much they're producing. So you'll see that this is producing a huge amount of food, a huge amount of wood right here. On the back line, not so much on this side, but the point is that you're getting a lot of resources just out of this single manor. And to get the amount of resources that you're getting out of this, the amount of resources this manor is producing is equivalent to like 2, maybe 2.5, maybe even 3 of your old manors. So in the early game, so we're at the 8-minute mark now, and the villagers have just migrated off. I'm not sure exactly where they're going. They're going up to the deer pack here. So we're going to have to think about putting a second or a third manor down. So the civilization has definitely changed in the way that you drop manors down. The question or not is going to be about whether or not that is a buff or whether that is a nerf. I suspect it's probably going to be just a mix, right? It's going to be better in some circumstances. It's going to be worse in others. That's the primary thing. Anyway, we got units beginning to make their way across the map here. We've got quite a few lords out here and looking to put on the pressure. Meanwhile, Beasty, he's on the defense, and keep in mind, he's moved into his first governor. Let's take a look and see which way he's gone. He has appointed the governor of Ajma, which automatically recruits up to 6, 9, 13 powerful Emir warriors, which are more powerful when close to Tughlaqabad forts. The key being that it doesn't matter which Tughlaqabad fort it is. It could be a Tughlaqabad fort over here that's a different governor. They still get that bonus. So you're essentially getting free units, and these units are very powerful. If we take a look at this Earl's Guard right here, 12 damage, 171 health, 4 armor. These units outmatch that. More health, more armor. That is incredible. That is incredible, and they come in for free. Now, arguably not for free, because you do technically have to pay for the governor in the sense that, well, you've had to get a Tughlaqabad fort in the first place, and therefore it wouldn't have mattered. But these units are essentially free. They will come out for free. You don't have to pay for them, and because of that, they're very cool. Now, the further away you move from the fort, the worse they get. Keep that in mind. So at this stage of the game, they remain just a defensive beacon, a defensive position for Beasty. As he sits here and he says, I'm just going to pretend I'm playing the Chinese, and I'm just going to have a good time. The question on my mind is, which way does he go now? It looks like he's going to be going Castle Age. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of stone that's relatively safe. I mean, you've got this stone, which is arguably about the best stone positioning you could get, right? Like, maybe if you had this stone over here, it would be slightly better, but even then, this is still a really good spot. Does he look to potentially take this? In which case, might be a very smart decision. There's a lot of Tughlaqabad forts in that bad boy, that's for sure. House of Learning going to be coming through. Unfortunately, no combat of the defender today. I know a lot of you are a fan of it, but unfortunately, we're going to just have to deal with some unique technologies. We'll get into those a little bit later. Let's check in with Numidan and see how he's doing. As he plays for a little bit longer into the game, but just keep an eye on these units. We're not seeing a huge amount of units that are coming out, just the Lancers. Does he potentially think about Fast Imperial? Fast Imperial for the House of Lancaster is still absolutely one of the best strats you can do, in my mind. It's always been incredible, but it still is obviously going to be very, very good. One villager just going the wrong way, losing its life because of it. 2 vills taken out this game, unfortunately, for Beasty. Now, keep in mind, he does have the second town center, so he's going to be a lot less impacted than a civilization on a single town center at this early stage. But now, relics are going to be on the cards here for Numidan, as the first of the relics is on the way back, the second about to be picked up. Oh, no, you don't, my friend, says Beasty. He snags it away. He's got 2 imams on the field at the moment. Let's see if we can find the second one. Oh, he's up towards the top. Look at Beasty. Look at the routes he's running. Now, keep in mind, there is a wall that's going to be coming up soon here, but it's only a single villager, and I suspect by the time that villager gets there, we may have ourselves a safe relic. So Beasty with 2 of the relics, third relic towards the south, being guarded up by Numidan at the moment. He knows exactly what the play is here. He's also got the knight towards the front of the base, just in case any potential scholars get the idea. But of course, he's a happy little camper at the moment. He doesn't really need to do much. He just bides his time. And I think that's the key thing to note here with this civilization. It just sits here. At least, I shouldn't say with this civilization, because the Tughlag dynasty is a civilization, in my mind, that has so many damn strategic options, right? Like, as mentioned before, when I spoiled that Marine Lord game, we saw a player who literally never made a Tughlaqabad fort. Keep in mind, the amount of strategy that is available to you within the Tughlaqabad fort is amazing. But then, on top of that, you can then just say, well, I don't want to make one. Which is totally viable, apparently. And as a result, we do see that as a potential option. Now, as we've seen, Beasty is not going to be playing into that style today. I've theorized one of the ways that you could potentially play this civilization is if you went into the early Tughlaqabad fort. Now, Beasty's gone with a defensive bonus here, going into the Ajma. But I feel like you don't have to play into that. I feel like very much you could look to play into the Governor of Bakhar for the extra food generation, which might not seem like much, but it does make quite a bit of sense, especially if you're training lots of villagers. Having that free food generating for you can be very nice. Now, of course, it's expensive to get farms down, but hey, you can always throw down those cheaper houses and get yourself a little bit more population space as well. So there's definitely those 2 sides of the coin there, in that, yeah, it's an investment into your food, but at the same time, you're also getting that population space. Now, Beasty, speaking of food, is going to start throwing down some farms here, realizing that, hey, not everything is perfect in paradise. We still don't have complete control over our lands. Lancers are now going to start making their way towards the enemy berries. No success for Beasty at the 13-minute mark. He'll continue to look for harassment throughout the game. Another Lancer moving up towards the north, just on a little patrol route. Scout in the middle, probably going to get picked up unless Beasty's got the APM. He does have the APM, but he's not quick enough. Unfortunately, he's doing well. He's up 20 villagers in this game. Currently, relic advantage sits at 3-1. That that 5th and final relic. I don't know exactly where it is. There it is. Beasty's just picked it up. So it's going to be a 3-2 split between these 2. Tughlaqabad fort about to go up, and I wonder which governor he's going to go into here. Now, I already know the answer. I was sorry. We know which one he's going into, and he's going into the Governor of Bakhar, and that's because it becomes a food drop-off location. So the fact that he's already pre-building farms around it indicates that that is going to be the governor that he goes into. It'll take a couple seconds after he's actually clicked it to be doing it, and look what we've got over here. Just as we're preparing our farms, our opponent is preparing for Imperial. So he should hopefully now click this. You got to make sure that you click this button because it's not a food drop-off point until you actually click it. So hopefully he remembers. Lance is in the back though. Beasty finding a couple Vill kills. Is he able to get another one? It doesn't look like. Maybe. Oh, he gets one in there. Not bad. Not bad. If you could trade 1 Lancer for 1 Vil, would you do it? Probably not. I mean, yeah, maybe. Make 10 Lancers, kill 10 Vils? Probably not worth it. Not worth it if you make 10 Lancers, you would hope that you'd get like at least 20 Vils. Anyway, we've now got it coming through. There it is, the Governor of Bakar, and then we will see that food drop-off location. And so with this, not only are all of these farms going to be generating food, so it's only the closest farms. So you'll see there's 12 farms in the first ring. These are the ones that generate food. So right now, Beasty's going to be generating 12 times 12 for 144 food every minute passively, which is absolutely lovely. And of course, you can level that up and keep it going. The sooner you get that bonus, the better it's going to be, right? You know, 144 food at minute number 4 is a lot more powerful than at minute number 14. And obviously, the more you can generate, the better. So I'm very much a fan of maybe even let's just go into this straight away at the beginning of the game. And, you know, it's probably something that I should test before I throw out my ideas too much with it, just because I'm sure there's going to be that one guy in the back who's like, I've tried it, it's terrible, it doesn't work, don't bother. I mean, there's a part of me that sees like what Beasty did here, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like the Ajma was very cool and it could have worked if your enemy was aggressive, but your enemy wasn't aggressive. He went straight fast castle. We absolutely could have got value there. Anyway, Lance is now coming through. Beasty going to do a little bit of repelling here at the 16-minute mark. We haven't seen a whole lot of fighting between these two just yet as they work towards, well, they work towards their goals. They work towards moving in the direction of winning the game. Both of them are obviously going to be looking to do it in different ways. Beasty more of an economic route, Numidan more of a, well, how do I say this nicely? A wind guard route. We've got the upgrades coming through. Now, speaking of upgrades, I'm going to have to downgrade this music, or this audio. Sometimes it gets a little bit loud, so you'll have to forgive me. Let's check in on the other side, though. I want to see with Numidan, is he just going into spear spam? He should just be going spear spam. Indeed, he's just going into spear spam. Up to 16 spearmen right now. And this is absolutely the play. All you need to do in this as this civilization, I think, is just literally make spearmen from the wing guard. And then you can make other units as well, but just not from the wing guard. I think that's the key. You just got to make sure the wing guard is spamming. You got to make sure you've always got population space, so you can just constantly trade these out effectively. Let's check in and see how these manors are doing. So this man are producing quite a bit up here. We can see another manor going to be thrown down. Keep in mind, they also act as a drop-off location for all resource buildings. So you don't need to throw down your farms, or rather your mills. You don't need to throw down your lumber camps. It allows you very much to be flexible with the resources that you gather. But here we can see what's taking us so long. We're trying to get a retreat out right now, but it feels like we're just being slowed down. A couple of raider elephants behind the back. Just going to get countered completely by these spears as the veterancy upgrade does come through. They've also got that bonus armor, bonus health coming in from the lords nearby. Meanwhile, towards the north, the Lancer's going to be chasing away some villagers, able to get over the other side of the line. No quick walls coming through just yet from Beasty. He's going to have to try a bit harder than that. Meanwhile, the heals continue to come up. Upgrade on the way. Red Brick Bastions is looking for upgrade level 2 here. Vil's continuing being chased. Unfortunately, no APM for that. Quick wall is going to hurt Beasty. It's very difficult. He's got a lot of things to focus on right now, and one of those key things... By the way, have a look how big these shadows are right now. It's late in the afternoon as these two battle it out. The elephants with shadows larger than life. Look at the Tughlaqabad fort's shadow. That thing is absolutely thick, dude. What time are we fighting here? It's about a 5 p.m. battle. Normally, we schedule it for dawn. Normally, these guys are a bit late. But now Lancer's chasing back all these villagers back to base. Beasty with 17 villager losses so far. He's done his best to try and hold them, but the fast Imperial timing from Numidan may have absolutely cracked this egg wide open. More spears rallying on the way through. Elite upgrades are in now. And Beasty struggling to try and find a way through. Men at Arms coming out. Keep an eye out for those unique units. We'll be keeping an eye on them. Actually, where are they? He's just got them down here. One thing to note for these units, so you can see he's got them on patrol at the moment. A bit of a mistake. He could have them over here at this Tughlaqabad fort, and they do not get debuffed, because when it comes to the way the Emir warrior works, it doesn't lose strength in the presence of a Tughlaqabad fort, but it doesn't have to be the Tughlaqabad fort that the governor got you from. So this is effectively 6 units that are just kind of chilling out for the moment, and they could really be helping in that defense. We lost a lot of villagers in that engagement, and it could have been the difference in your opponent saying, oh, that's a little bit too much, I'm not going to bother right there. And especially when you're talking about spears, a unit that's got such an effective counter against cavalry and just doesn't do particularly well against anything else. That is part of I think he's realized. Yeah, he's got, so he's a little bit of a defense or patrol route up here. And it's one of those things, right? The more that we play, the more that we learn. And because of that, it might take time for us. Like, I'm autistic, so I go in and I literally check every little function about how a unit works and all of that. Whereas other people, they like to get their hands on a bit more, and they'll understand it as they play more and go, oh, I can do that. That's cool. Whereas us folk that, you know, really like to just nut something out straight away, we kind of have the advantage, at least initially, when it comes to that kind of thing. But now, Beasty once again on the defensive up against these elite spears. Let's check in on the other side of the map. We've got some important upgrades that are coming through. Have a look at this. Not only do we have Padda Jack coming through, we got elite army tactics on the way. Vil's going to try and make a run towards this. Does he look for a stampede? He's going to go for a stampede. Let's see how much damage he can do on these villagers. They managed to make it through to the other side, so he's able to survive. Fortunately, Numadan, that was a close one. That was a very close one. I don't think he would have lost a Vil even from the stampede. Maybe one or two that was medium to low health there, but that looked very scary. Fortunately, the spears are there in time as well. And okay, it looks like the Emir warriors have finally made their way to the front here and will be able to assist in the defense in the event that we do have any more units on the way. Spears coming around the side here. I love the addition of this little attack route around the side. And what have we got? We got the governor of Multan coming in for a little bit of extra town center production. Where is this fort coming in? It's coming in over here, the Tughlaqabad fort. So Beasty now moving into that option. So that'll give him, what does it work out? An extra 15%. So I think it goes from 20 to 17 seconds. Let's check in and make sure we're not telling any porkies. Indeed, it's 17 seconds. So same as the feudal age French bonus. Next level that he'll have will be at 30%, I think it is. Yeah, 30%, which is the equivalent of the Song Dynasty, which takes you down to 15%. And then finally, well, not finally, then we've got 50% at the second upgrade, which is going to be, I think it works out to be 11 seconds, I want to say. All these Vils. No, it might be 13 seconds. These Vils have just gone down. Beasty losing 23 Vils this game, but still manages to keep a decent villager lead over his opponent. The one thing to remember is that what's not always translated over here is the fact that we've got manners. We've got manners, and the manners are doing, well, they're just doing manner things. He's also picked up the additional upgrade Scootage for just a little bit of extra gold. So at the moment, producing, there's no total here, but it's about 130 resources. Not a whole lot here. What are we talking? Yeah, about 130 resources here. Not too bad. We've got another one towards the front. We got ourselves about 90 resources, and another one here, somewhere in the region about 150, 160. So it's definitely, like, it balances out. That's the other thing. And as you can see, right, like, we're sitting at 6 out of 11 manners. There's not a huge amount of manners that are down right now. And even if you went to 11, like, I don't think there's a world where you really need to have 11 manners. Like, there will be games where you do build them, but they're not always going to be having lots of villages around them. And I think that's one of the key important things to note is you primarily just want them in your main CBDs, your central business districts, right? Like, you want one near the TC at the beginning of the game. You want one near the 8K gold vein when you've got 20 villagers gathering from it, right? Like, these are matters of fact. I guess where it becomes difficult is, like, as the game goes longer, you start wondering, okay, is it worth me putting the 8 villages that are over here on a berry patch that I've just decided to move my vills over? Is it worth me throwing a mana down on? And I think we'll probably find players probably don't do that for the berry patches, but have a look at this. We got ourselves a little bit of trouble back here as Numadan once again continues hunting for villages. Another Tughlaqabad fort back here. I wonder which one he's going to go into on this position at the back. Of course, you may be unfamiliar with the all of the upgrades. Well, let me tell you exactly which way he's going to go. He's going to be going into the governor of Jalor. It's interesting that we can determine which way he's going to go before he actually does it. Now, age up has come through as well for Beasty. He's moved into the Hussar Academy. We haven't spoken much about this, so let's talk about this upgrade. Or this age up. The way it works is simple. Gives you food and gives you gold for however many Tughlaqabad forts with governors in them you've got. So for every active governor, you get 50 gold, 50 food. That's it. So if you've got 7 of them, you get 350 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only exist though. So good luck getting 7 of them. I think there used to be a 7th and they removed it. I'm pretty sure there was a 7th if I remember correctly. I think it gave emplacements for free. Maybe? I want to say that's what it did, but I don't know. It was something silly like that. Either that or I'm mistaken. Anyway, we got ourselves more spear Vil kills. Spears are just running rampage over this game. And I think that's the other thing to note. Like, look at Numadan. Numadan is just chilled, dude. He is just, you know, he's having a great time, still spamming spears. They still haven't fixed this. I'm going to say it now. Probably want to fix this. But, like, if you fix this, what else have House of Lancaster got? What else do you want them to do? All we know is spear spam, sir. What more can we do? Please, sir, may I have some... No, you can't have more strategies, House of Lancaster. This is it. This is your whole identity as a civilization. Making a single unit from a single landmark, going to Imperial as quickly as you can. This is how it works. Now, one of the unfortunate things about putting all these farms down is, unfortunately, we need elephants nearby to make sure that we're gathering at a reasonable rate. We don't want to be running all the way down to the Tughlaqabad fort. You can see it making 336 a minute at the moment. Not a bad amount. So he's got that second level, no third, or no fourth level, sorry. No third upgrade. Let's say it like that. That's easy. That's easier when we say it like that, isn't it? No third upgrade coming through because, of course, no Tughlaqabad fort. But what have we got here? Look at these madmen with their batons out. Actually, it's not a baton. It's a kanda. You'll have to forgive me. One of the unique upgrades here gives them a little bit of extra damage. They're going to turn around here and fight up against these spears, potentially, as Beasty makes his way over towards here. And hold on a minute. He's stealing away the enemy's gold. I am a big fan of this. I do like a little bit of thieving. What is going on up here? I don't know if you guys can see that or if it's just my monitor. No, you guys can see that. That's an in-game thing. All right, he's going to commit to take out the keep. If he can take out the keep, he can potentially hit the gold vein as well. These fills are going to be exposed very quickly. Look how much he's taken it down. Meanwhile, towards the other side, spears are doing what spears do best. It's raiding enemy villages. All sacred sites taken by Beasty. He's looking to turn the tides. More Kanda warriors moving towards the north. Elite men-at-arms, also known as villagers, are out. They're going to do a bit of repairing. He's now looking to try his best to deal with this threat. The Lords are in here, providing the AoE buff to all the units nearby. Hand Cannon is also going to help clean this up. I don't think Beasty's going to be able to have a successful attack on this keep. Losing out a huge amount of men-at-arms here, unfortunately, and not really taking a whole lot of units with him, which is a painful loss, a really painful loss. Now behind enemy lines, scouts together with the men-at-arms. Beasty says, okay, let's kick this beast up into 5th gear. Let's get ourselves starting to pump. And he's decided, you know what, it's going to be men-at-arms that we do this game with. He's also got a couple raider elephants. Always a little bit cautious with the raider elephants, especially when you're up against a civilization that knows how to make spearmen. That is for sure. But they're still quick, and look at them go. 1.6 movement speed, making their way towards the back line. At the 27-minute mark, Beasty now says, it's time. You've been hitting me all game. I've lost 50 villagers so far. But now it's your turn. There's a lot of damage on these bad boys. 31 damage a pop on these tusks. They do not mess around. Keep in mind, they got their stampede ready to roll in the middle of the map. We also got spearmen that are taking on the enemy men-at-arms. We'll ride back on board with Beasty, though, and the spears are doing a wonderful job in chasing down these raider elephants. Keep in mind, they're a little bit slower than your standard horsemen, and because of that, the spears are going to be keeping on them like glue. Beasty once again trying to take out another building, unsuccessful, as the Wingard Palace does not go down, and he knows the significance of it, the importance of it. If he's able to take this out, he's going to have a little bit more of an easy game because, well, his opponent is not going to be able to produce spearmen, at least not for the moment. Unfortunately, it doesn't go down. And Beasty, it just feels like the game is getting away from him. Why does it feel that way? Because his attacks aren't working, right? Like, he's not getting anything from his attacks. And we do see the curse of Alluya coming through. This is going to help him out in the event that he's sieged on any of these forts. But of course, at the moment, the real siege appears to be coming towards the front of his base. And now trouble in paradise. 28 minutes into this game, Numidan with 108 military population, a huge army. Beasty trying once again. He's looking to hit out on this manor. Men-at-arms going to do their best, but of course there's just a handful of hand cannoneers in the back. He's up to 13 now. Numidan starting to put pressure on at the front. Reinforcements making their way across the map. Sacred sites have been neutralized as well. And the Lords continue progressing across the map. That's the other thing to note. The fact that you can now go into the Abbey of Kings without really having to think about which landmark you're making means you've always got the Lord of Lancaster, which means your spears are always going to be buffed up. And it's just like this nice little extra thing to have on top of all the other upgrades that you've got. It's incredible. It's just, this civilization might actually be nerfed for the better. Is that a thing? When they nerf something? Well, it wasn't a nerf, to be honest. I mean, it was an objective nerf, but it was a redesign as well. That's the other thing, right? Like, if we cut the numbers down by 50% and then change a little component, I mean, is it a nerf? I don't think you can call it a nerf. It's a redesign. It's a redesign. It's neither here nor there because it's worse in the early game, but arguably better in the late game. But even then, I mean, if you're better in the early game, you can get to the late game in a better position, and therefore it doesn't matter. So maybe it is technically a nerf. Anyway, you get the idea, right? Like if you're ahead, yeah. Anyway, we got ourselves ballista elephants coming out. Beasty definitely making the right call. Finally, he finds the tech that he needed to. He needed this tech 10 minutes ago. This would have solved a lot of his problems. The spear spam has been strong, but unfortunately, Numidan in his base, 5 times the military pop of his opponent. Now, keep in mind, the spearmen also do a very effective job against these ballista elephant, not to mention the fact the hand cannoneers are shredding them right now. 5 health, down to 5 health so damn quickly. What's the combo that he's got to go here? He's got to do like ballista elephant together with maybe raider elephant. Is that the play? Maybe just war elephant? No, even then I don't know. I think it's got to be raider elephant that he's got to go. But he's really struck Beasty with 3 military pop to his name right now. I think this might be it. I mean, the army from his opponent has stopped coming out for this current stage of the game, but I think this might be it. How does he rebuild this? He's got a decent-sized economy, 97 villages. There's quite a few idols, though. Also got problems in the backline. Cannon emplacement's definitely going to help on the defensive. Hand cannoneers, evacuate. No wall towards the front. Keep that in mind. No wall towards the front is going to mean that these units can stream in easily. There's no easy re-wall, right? Like if we had a big stone wall across the front here and a battering ram had broken through it and the battering ram had somewhat died and then we just reseal the wall, we can buy ourselves time. We can potentially climb up this hill. The trouble that you've got is as your opponent's army continues to increase in size, and yours does as well, they've got that critical mass. That's where it really gets hard. And even though Beasty's managed to steal this gold away from his opponent and secure his own 8k, it doesn't really matter because Numidan just clicks one button. You know what button it is. You know what button it is. It's the garrison command. He's just spamming spears at this point. I mean, he's making other units as well. We can't be that mad at him. Rebolda, Randy's out. Don't get mad at him. Okay, mangoes. Mangoes could be good. Do we just go the double siege combo? Does he just need to go like mango together with Springald? Is that the way that you play this? What do you do if the enemy just runs at you? Maybe you need men at arms as well. Now, does he have, yeah, he's got the reinforcements coming through from the Ajma, I want to say, yeah, Ajma, the governor of Ajma. This is yet to be upgraded though, so keep that in mind. So we're not looking at a whole lot. There's only 6 of them on the field, not the 13 that you kind of wish there were. And keep in mind, I think their stats also upgrade throughout the course of the game. With the upgrades. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong on that. Don't trust me on that one. Never trust a Drongo. They are they're very trickster birds. I don't know if very trickster is the right way to say it, but they are a trickster bird. Culverin firing off. Mangonel having to fall back for the moment. Numidan just feels like he's 3 steps ahead at this stage, still firing back towards that position. And now Spear's going to head in underneath the town center, see what they can find. He's going to try and hold. Wallalol attempt from the Beast. Second Wallalol. He falls back. Plenty of spears. Rebolda as well. Culverin coming through. Beasty trying to hold on. Bombard comes out as well. He's got plenty of coverage from the defensive landmarks as well as the defensive keeps. The Tughlaqabad fort. And now the Mangonel stands on the back. A single Mangonel stands on the back and gets killed by spears like everything else in this game, ladies and gentlemen. It gets killed by spears. Beasty now in big trouble. He loved playing this cavalry composition as the war elephant comes out, but it plays perfectly into the spearmen of his opponent, and it looks like we may have unfortunately casted another Beasty loss. You hate to see it. It's rare that it happens when Beasty losses do occur, but I will say right now they are interesting because it's rare. When a guy who's got 97% win rate loses a game, you want to ask yourself, why? Why? How? He wins 97% of his games. How? What was it that he lost? Why did he lose? And I can't put my finger on it this game. There's no specific instance where it all went downhill. But I can't help but feel the fact that it was things like this attack over here that was just so close to success and didn't work. Or this attack over here, which as well would have shut down a significant landmark for a huge amount of time. And it was just kind of wasted. And in the end, there's only one who is wasted. Ladies and gentlemen, he taps out. It's Beasty. Numidan takes the victory. Make sure you check him out. Links in the description. We'll catch you in the next one. By the way, don't forget to check it out. It's returning November 19. I'll see you there.